Next year it'll be almost 20 years since we filmed the show, and I'm not quite sure we've ever sat down and talked.
No.
The way we are now.
No.
And what's amazing is we have Ben and Olivia here who are also, true fans, watch the show, and so please, carte blanche to, you are the voice of the people.
I just, were you guys very close when filming the show? Walk me through those
what? This
years
is
of
so,
filming.
wow, this is going to be like therapy.
It is.
Because it's so interesting how, I have my perspective and what I had, and especially because, we were going through this, during our adolescence and when we were, changing and learning and all of this, and it's going to be interesting to see, what my perspective was and what your perspective was and if they align at all.
Josh, you first?
Family therapy.
Yeah. I would say there were at times when we hung out a lot and we were close, and then there were times when, not for any reason, but just weren't.
Yeah.
And then I think that there were times when, when you are working with somebody that every day, day in and day out, and you're going through stuff at home or emotional thing, just things that, and then they come out with the person, it's you take it out on whoever the one next to you, whoever's closest to you and with you the most often. It's your mom's why are you taking this out of me? It's well, you're the one that's there. It's your sister, your girlfriend, your brother, whatever it is. And I think that we suffered the brunt of that a little bit sometimes, where there were times where it was yeah, we might not have been getting along, but I think it's we were dealing with a lot of shit outside of our relationship for us, working together.
Or as my mother would say, I'm not here for you to unload. I take on your mishigas. It affects me for days. You're out running around. And I'm here bleeding. Thanks, Mom. It's called enmeshment. Done a lot of therapy on that.
So what I wanted to know was just, Drake sort of answered, you guys had your good days, your bad days. You were kind of close. You weren't always close. But, from the viewer's perspective, it's you're brothers. So, obviously, you have to be best friends. So then once the show ends, the question on everybody's mind always is just, what happened to your friendship? But maybe there wasn't, a deep enough, maybe that wasn't necessarily a thing. Maybe you were just coworkers, and once the project ended, it kind of ended. Or was there more to it? What happened? What happened to the two of you?
I can start.
Mm-hmm.
I think from my experience, and we've talked about this before, I came on the Amanda show. We didn't get along at first, but I thought you were so cool, and I really wanted you to like me. And then, thankfully, we had this shared love of old school comedy and sitcoms and great television. And so once you realized that I was kind of funny and I liked people who liked funny, we were suddenly inseparable.
Yeah.
And it felt like we, had this bond, and then Drake and Josh started. And I think what happened was, and we'll talk about it later, but, watching the documentary and sort of what you were brave enough to share and to explain, which I could never have known at that age, was all the things you were going through and facing.
Yeah.
And because for the most part it wasn't shared with me, this separation started between us.
Yeah.
And I think I just assumed
it's interesting too, because as you were just saying that, I'm it's bringing back memories and stuff. And, there's a lot of things that you're still realizing, as haven't figured it all out. But it's interesting, as we talk about our relationship, from Drake and from Amanda's show, and I don't know if this is just because we've made a lot of bad choices in our lives, or if it's just from trauma. But
yeah.
I have a lot of trouble remembering a lot of things.
Fair.
And things come back as people say things, and I'm oh, I forgot. Oh my gosh, I remember that. I was talking to, remember Jill? Remember my girlfriend Jill?
Yeah, your ex-girlfriend.
I was talking to her the other day, and she had mentioned she had like there's this something that I do just for for comfort as an adult, and she mentioned something, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's why I do like that, like so sometimes things come back.
We had lunch last weekend to kind of like just catch up and talk about how we wanted to do the pod, and I shared this with you. I remember, so we had this year or two where we just kind of, we were both there, but we weren't really there. And then it felt like something had turned around, and you can please tell me, I don't want to speak for you, maybe you knew that it was like finally Brian was going to go to jail and get arrested. And so we start to like, our friendship starts coming back, and maybe it was your 16th birthday, but I remember you invited me down to your parents' house in Orange County. And so your stepdad, Roy, shout out Roy, drove me.
Jill was there, right?
Joe was there.
His 16th birthday, yeah.
And Roy drove me down because I didn't have a license, and we went to Christian comedy.
Yep.
It was great.
Yeah, it was actually funny. I remember being so terrified. Like my mom, my sweet mother.
She's such a good
She's
church
like,
God bless
she's
her.
like, Josh loves comedy and stand-up comedy. Like, there's this thing going on at the church with comedy, and he'll love it. And I was just like, not that kind of comedy, Mom. Not that kind of comedy.
What's the deal with the apostles?
Yeah. But I gotta say, one of the best Drake and Josh memes is Drake, where's the body of Christ?
Yes.
That's a great one.
So good.
But anyway, so we go to Christian comedy, and
well, I remember
just an example of how Christian comedy can be funny, because that meme is hilarious. But so anyway, it was funny. But anyway.
Well,
sorry, I'm defending Christian comedy. I had to go in and defend.
Title.
I have no skin in the game for Christian comedy. I just felt the need to defend.
Drake Bell defends Christian comedy. We have this wonderful Christian comedy night, and we have your mom's famous enchiladas, I believe.
Yeah.
Excellent. Why do you say it like that?
Because you
Shut up.
know they weren't good.
No, they were bomb. I love them.
So my mom,
they were enchilicious.
Grew up very poor. Okay. So she learned everything she learned about cooking, about everything. She was extremely poor. So that's all she knows how to cook.
But by the way, some of the best food,
Yeah, but all right, maybe it's not because she's just poor. I mean, she's just a bad kid.
We're cutting that out.
Thank God
Robin,
she married
I'm
Roy.
cutting that out for
Thank
you.
God she married Roy.
I will not let your enchiladas get dragged.
Chicken enchilada casserole. It's chicken enchilada casserole. I loved it growing up because I had no culture, and I grew up in that house, and that was all I've eaten, and that's all I knew. It was that and Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So it was delicious. Now, as an adult, I apologize that I subjected you to that.
No, it's good.
I remember your face. I could read your thoughts, and I just, want to apologize.
I can't imagine Josh was unhappy with a chicken enchilada at that time.
Oh, yeah,
I don't believe it.
No,
I remember my wife's close friend, good family friend, Libby. She said, I told her we were going to do this, and she's like, oh my God. She's like, and who cares if you even air it?
Yeah.
Like, at least you guys are really talking it out,
And well, I was talking to Janet, the same thing, and she's like, it's so, it's just all the people who know us, it's like, it's so really cool to just like get, because at lunch we were talking about it too, and it was funny because it was a short lunch. He was with the kids that day, and I was driving home, and I was like, oh, I forgot to tell him this. Oh, I forgot to tell him this. Oh, I wanted to tell him about this. And then I was like, oh, I'll just text him about it. I'm like, no. It was so funny. I'm like, no, don't text him. That'll bother him. Like, wait till he texts you.
Play cool.
I was like, just
come
wait till
on.
I was like, wait till he texts you. Like, don't look like too excited.
Ben, you've had that with me too, right? You don't want to, you like to play hard to get.
It's so funny. It's like an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. But an ex-girlfriend that you really want to get back with.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're the good guys, doing out the great